Hey, good to have you back. Here's another question as a trigonometry question, and it's actually involved questions. Requires two types of solutions. We have to use the first solution in order to get the second solution. All right, so here's the diagram. Welcome back. So let's go ahead and do this question together. I need you to pay attention to the diagram now. So we have this Anne and Byron, they're standing apart, positioned 35 meters uh, away from each other and on one side of a stream, and measured the angles as shown below. So to the end, to the other side of the river is 36 degrees relative to Byron, and to the top of the cliff, the angle from Anne's eyes is 68 degrees, but based on the level ground on other side of the river, which is the base of that cliff. The question is, what is the height of the cliff on other side of the stream? So here it is. So I call it river, but you can call it stream. So a couple of things we need to do. We need to look at this triangle right here. So the big triangle with the dotted line, which is being hypotenuse of that right angle triangle. We have an angle and we don't have anything else. But notice that we have this base of this triangle that is sharing, that is the hypotenuse of the other triangle that is in the bottom. Okay, so let's change that so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is the other triangle that I'm talking about, right? And we are going to use this hypotenuse, this value, let's call it h. Once we have this, because this triangle has given us, this is a first of all right angle triangle, okay? It has this angle right here, which is angle of elevation. We have the adjacent side value to that angle, so we can easily find the hypotenuse using one of the trig ratios. Okay, once we have this, then we look at the second triangle where Anne is looking out and creating that triangle with the angle of elevation of 68 degrees. We're going to use the hypotenuse that we just found. Then we have two measures that we know for the right angle triangle, and then we can find the final value, which is x, okay, which is the height. This is the final value that we want to find. Okay, let's go ahead and write up in the bottom triangle. So triangle 1, so I'm going to call this triangle 1. First of all, let's do a quick review. The idea of the trig ratios. Do you remember your trig ratios? Trig ratios, if you don't remember it, is the sine, cosine, and tangent. And the SOHCAHTOA is what we use mostly in Canada and other places around the world as well. And you look at the diagram and say, okay, based on the angle 36 degrees, what is it that we want and what is it that we have? Well, in this case, we have adjacent, okay, to that angle, and we need hypotenuse. So which of the three ratios we have to use? Well, we have to use cosine. All right, let's write it up. So we have cos of 36 degrees equals adjacent, which is 35 meters, over the hypotenuse h. Let's do the math on this one. So the height is equal to, or the hypotenuse, apologies, 35 meters divided by cos of 36 degrees. You just switch the places here, or you can multiply both sides by h, and then you have to divide again by cos of 36 degrees. Let's do the math on this. We got The hypotenuse of the first triangle is 43.262 approximately meters. Okay, so this is approximation because the decimal continues, but that's okay for now. And then now once we have this, now we're gonna go ahead and look at the second triangle. Okay, so this triangle now we're gonna look at. So triangle number two, what do we have? So in triangle number two, look at what you have and what is it that you want. We have an angle. We have this side now, even though it was the hypotenuse of the first triangle, but it's an adjacent side again. You see that? So that is an adjacent side. This is the adjacent side for the second triangle. And then what do we want? We want the opposite, an opposite side to the. Okay, so this is the opposite side. Which of the three ratios, trigonometric ratios, are we going to use so it has adjacent and opposite? Well, this is tangent right there. So let's write it up. Tangent of 68 degrees equals to x over the adjacent side, which we got from the last triangle, and that is 43.262. Let's do the math in here. You're just multiplying tangent of 68 degrees, and so x equals to tan of 68 degrees times 43.262. So what is the value here? Equals to 107.077 meters. I stopped the calculation at 3 decimal places, but you can continue if you want to, or you can round it down to 107. That's acceptable as well, but be careful with the rounding. All right, and that is the height of the cliff on the other side of the stream. All right, I hope you found this useful. If you did, subscribe, like, make a comment in the description below. Give me some feedback and let me know how it's going. And if you want me to go over any other types of topics or questions, let me know. I'll do my best. Stay tuned. Come back for more videos. Talk to you guys soon. And always, always keep well.